The offer phase on the home selling experience can be very stressful for both the seller and the buyer. This process is intensified when there are multiple counteroffers. When the seller and the buyer have finally signed that last counteroffer and it's delivered to both parties, all parties can finally breathe that great sigh of relief. But what happens next? If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and spending your time with me. My name is Sonya, and I am proud to be a licensed Texas realtor. I'm your writing realtor with JPAR-The Sears Group. Here on my channel, we have lots of fun talking about Texas, real estate, and motorcycles. Well, my motorcycle, every single Thursday. And I absolutely love having you along for the ride. So once both parties have signed on that dotted line, what happens next? Well, the short answer is you're under contract. And once you finish rejoicing and you've breathed that great sigh of relief that that part's over, the buyer jumps into action with many things that need to be done very quickly. The seller, however, begins a contractual waiting game and a packing and moving frenzy. From a contractual perspective, the seller's obligations begin. The seller will need to do a few things. Number one, maintain the home in the condition that it was at the time the contract was accepted. In other words, if something breaks before closing, it's the seller's obligation to fix it. Number two, in Texas, this means that you are entering into the option period. The buyer will conduct inspections within the agreed amount that is in your contract. This could be anywhere between 0 to 10 days of acceptance of the purchase contract. At this time, the buyer will need to cancel the contract or notify the seller of disapproved items. The seller responds to the disapproved items by A, refusing to do any repairs, B, agreeing to do all the repairs, or C, agreeing to do some of the repairs. The most common response for the seller is to agree to do some of the repairs, but not all of them. At this point, the seller needs to get busy getting repairs done and submitting receipts, proof of completion. Number three, terminate utilities and other service providers to your home effective as of your closing date. The buyer cannot arrange to have utility services started until you've notified your provider that you are leaving. In Texas, you are required to keep utility service on to accommodate the buyer, the inspector, and the appraisers. The utilities will need to remain on for the final walkthrough, which will take place during the last few days before closing. As a side note, you may want to make sure the home closes and the new owners will take possession of the other house. Otherwise, you won't have utilities for yourself if the closing falls through. Number four, notify your home insurer that your homeowner's policy can be canceled on the day after closing. If something goes wrong and you don't close on time, you'll want to make sure that you have insurance coverage until you officially are no longer owner of that home. That happens when the change of title is recorded. Number five, you will need to accommodate all inspectors and inspections that the buyer requests. These include, but not necessarily limited to, a home inspection, a wood-destroying pest inspection, a pool inspection, HVAC inspection, a radon gas inspection, a mold inspection, and so much more. The number and types of inspectors involved is a matter of choice for the buyer and your obligation to make sure your home is available for them. Number six, if your buyer is financing the purchase, the mortgage company will require an appraisal. And if the buyer is paying cash for your home, they may want an appraisal. Either way, it's likely that you will need to accommodate an appraiser. It's important for you to know that if your home does not appraise at or above the purchase price, the buyers may walk away from the deal and you'll be thrown back into the position that you were before the original offer was made. Number seven, the buyer may want to return to your home to take measurements, check paint color finishes, fixtures, etc. You're not obligated to accommodate such visits, but we strongly encourage you to do so. And keep in mind that during the inspection period, the buyer can cancel the contract for any reason, so this is not the time to make them angry or frustrate their efforts. Number 8, you will need to be completely out of your home and ready to deliver the keys to the property at the time title transfers to the buyer. This means that unless other written arrangements have been made, you need to be completely moved out of your home before you go to the closing table. Assuming you don't want to be up in the wee hours of the day on closing, we recommend that you make every effort to be out of your home no later than the day before closing. This means make sure the home is clean and ready for the buyers to move in. So go ahead and get packing. It's time to move. If you want more information on what to do after receiving an offer, or if you want to stay up to date on all things Texas, make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you or anyone you know is looking to buy or sell their home, please give me a call. I love you, make good choices, and I will see you next Thursday.